Hi, my name is Jason Birmingham. This is session 5. So glad. All right, so let's get into this. Um, in reading the article, Influencing Culture and Opportunity for the Church, what impacted you most? Well, I think the thing that impacted me most about that was when he talks about how how cultural change is influenced within a society, where he says before he thought that it was change from the bottom up. That's kind of where I was too. I kind of had this notion in my head that I don't exactly know how it got there, but that it was something along the lines that like, all right, you convert as many people as possible by having them utter the prayer, and that will enact a heart change, and then once everyone's heart is changed, um, culture will change. But I don't think that that's right. I mean, Lyons doesn't think that that's right, but I would say it's theoretically incorrect, because these people who still have who might have changed hearts are still under the influence and exposure of many different subcultures and influences of culture that have remained unchanged, because like these patterns of culture are exactly that. They're patterns, they're structures, they're things that are hard to um, get rid of, let's say. And I think the top-down approach of actually trying to create new spaces within culture and within society that people can inhabit and then be transformed by them inhabiting that space is probably a little bit more cohesive. Were any of your assumptions challenged? Yeah, well, the one that I just talked about, that one was definitely challenged. Um, let's see, what else? Oh, he talked about catechesis. It's like the slow, deliberate, intentional forming of your faith and growing yourself spiritually and as a whole person. And he says that that is in direct conflict to the I'm going to call it the gospel of efficiency, because that's what it reminds me most of, which is like a movement back in the early 20th century that people espouse that God mandated efficiency because it makes the most of his created order. And that's when we started getting classrooms of that looked strikingly like the industrial revolution factories. And it's I guess at one point I was somewhat of a proponent of the gospel of efficiency, because I'm like, yeah, I'm American, I'm like, do more, like let's get to work, like let's get things done. But I'm actually a little put off by it, because what I think like the attention span of somebody right now is 6 seconds, which I don't know. There's a lot of work to be due. Did it offer you hope? Well, I mean, he like laid out a possible game plan. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely hope there. I have hope in God. I have hope in his plan. And who am I to say that God's plan isn't going to work out? I know ultimately that we're all going to end up in a better place, let's say. But yeah, I mean, like, did it offer me hope for the right now? I would say so, because it helped me be able to think of culture in a less nebulous way, as he describes, and a more tangible way. That culture is a product of our engagement with it. And because kind of before I was thinking that like culture was always at the mercy of Satan's machinations. How he has his like fingers uh, down deep into the cerebellums of most people alive, and that it was by him pulling strings, and that's essentially what created culture, which might not be too far off from the truth. But I was kind of under the impression that like Satan was the ruler of this world. But I don't really know if that's entirely accurate, because near the Great Commission, Jesus says, "I've been given authority over the heavens and the earth." So I do kind of think that we're in a new time right now, and it is empowering to think that yeah, we can definitely do something about culture. It doesn't have to be just like a battle with secular forces, and yeah, it can be truly rewarding, transformational. Yeah,